Welcome to the Why Not podcast with me, Chrissy Hawkins. In a world where everybody always asks you why, I'm here to ask why not. I'm going to do that by breaking down the mindsets of guests and my own to figure out what makes people say, why not? Hello and welcome back to Why Not. I hope you're all well. So I have a bit of a change in theme today in personnel. I have an interview with James Burnell, who is a musician in Dublin. And today we just talk about how he got into music, getting into the music industry, and how he has used the time during the pandemic to focus on songwriting and done a few online gigs as well. So it was a really interesting conversation and really good to show, because breaking into the music industry was a lot like life, like you just have to keep going and stuff. Anyway, he describes this a lot better than I do I'm doing now. And so guys, I hope you really enjoy this episode. So as you are sitting and relaxing and listening, hopefully, or maybe you're walking and listening, whatever way you want to do it, welcome to today's episode with James Burnell. Okay guys, hello and welcome back to the Why Not podcast. So I have another interview today. Today I have got James Burnell. So he is a musician from Donegal originally, I do believe, and living down here in Dublin now. So welcome to the podcast, James. How are you?
Good, Chrissy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So James, I'm going to give the floor to you. Tell us all about yourself.
So my name is James Burnell. I'm a musician, as you've already told the people. I know. Yeah, I play music. I write songs. I busk around Dublin. I do all the cover gigs and stuff around Temple Bar. But obviously that's not happening now because of the restrictions and stuff with the government. But yeah, and then so that's really all there is about me. I'm just a musician. I'm from Ireland. Yeah.
That's who I am, what I do. How did you get into music? Was it always something you wanted to do growing up, or?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Like when I was a kid, I was always like kind of singing or trying to sing anyway. And I used to like get, like the kitchen roll holders.
Yeah.
So the stuff inside the kitchen roll, whenever that was empty, I used to like take it and like bend the top of it to make it look like it was a microphone. So I'd, like he just pictures of me when I was like a kid, just singing into a kitchen roll holder, But yeah, so like my grandparents got me a guitar for Christmas one year when I was really young. My hands were like too small to play it, so my mom put it away. And then like my birthday following that, I got like a little like fake guitar. It's not strings, and I had like these songs preloaded. So yeah, I was just always like playing and messing about, and then I just started playing the guitar. Then I think I was about 9 or something, 9 or 10, something like that, and just did it then through school and studied it in college, and came down to Dublin and met all you folk, and that was it.
The world closed down.
The world closed down, and now I'm a musician that doesn't really play music.
Is music a big thing in your family? Is there like plenty of musicians, or are you kind of the different one?
There's my cousin plays. He's very good, and like some of my cousins would sing, but I don't think they've carried it on. Like they've gone to do other things. My auntie could sing. My auntie would sing and play guitar and stuff when I was younger, but not like, I don't think they ever did it professionally. I think it was something they just enjoyed doing,
Yeah. So you're leading the charge.
Very poorly, but trying.
Well, to be fair, it's like, lockdown kind of stops that. And how have you found lockdown? Like obviously it stopped gigging for you and stuff like that, but how have you, like, say, I don't know, as I said, have you found it? How have you worked around it, or what has it done for you or against you? I don't know.
I suppose, I mean, I was saying to you before all this, like, it was nice just to have that kind of break.
Yeah.
Because I was I was doing all the gigs in the pubs and singing the Wonderwalls and the Don't Look Back in Anger and stuff like that all the time, and I hate it. So anyone that asks me for Wonderwall, I hate it. Don't do it when we open up.
Don't worry, I never ask you. I hate it too.
But yeah, no. I mean, I don't hate. Like, I like playing music. I like playing music to anybody, you know.
Just an internal sigh when they ask for a Wonderwall.
Yeah. I really like. I judge them. You know, I'm like,
you're basic.
You really have to have a better music taste than this, dude. But anyway, I'm like, the last guy just played it. We're in Temple Bar. It's in every bar, you know. Like, pick something.
What's the one as well?
Perfect by Ed Sheeran or something.
Oh God, don't even talk to me about Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran isn't bad. He's just like, he's a good songwriter. It's just, it wouldn't be my cup of tea. But then again, I'm sure I'm not Ed Sheeran's cup of tea if you ever heard me. So.
Totally fair. What's the other one? Oh, Hallelujah, that one.
I've never really heard. No, that hasn't really been requested that much.
Really?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, a lot of buskers would probably play it and stuff, but like, you don't really hear that and stuff anyway. It's literally Oasis and Blur and Ed Sheeran, and yeah, Country Roads is another one as well. Fuck me, Jesus. Oh, am I allowed to curse?
Okay. Yeah. Curse away. I don't care. I curse all the time.
Jesus, that's terrible. It's not even that's a terrible song. It's just like, man, you've heard it from the 5 previous people here that you've been drinking in the bar with all day. Like, you know, there's been 5 other musicians before me. You've heard the same songs over. Like,
yeah, but they want to hear it again from you.
So
here's a list of songs not to request next time you're out, guys, on the piss, whenever that happens in 2025 or something.
2030 at this stage. But yeah, but anyway, so basically, as much as I love my job, like it's nice to have the break from that playing all the time. Like I was doing 4 or 5 days a week and like doing like 3 gigs a day. So like the days I had off, I was just like too tired to even like look at the guitar or even be like creative and write something, you know. It was just kind of drained. So just end up like obviously going to town and meeting up with friends and stuff and getting drunk or going for food or whatever, you know. But you can't do that anymore. So but yeah, so it's been nice to have that kind of break a little bit. Just be able to sit down and write and record demos and stuff, and just means I'm in a better position when the world eventually opens up. That side of things anyway, you know. But yeah, in terms of adapting, I don't know, like you can't have gigs, you know. There's no you can't have people at a venue. There's been these really cool like live stream gigs. I've done like 2 of them. So there's this music music group basically. They're called the Fluttertown. They promote artists and Irish artists, independent artists around Dublin and Ireland, and they would do this thing every Monday in the Wiley Fox and Eden Key called the Monday Club, and it was like an open mic kind of thing, but it kind of became a thing where you would pre-book and they actually be kind of setting a lineup maybe from the week before, you know, rather than going in and putting your name down. That kind of a preset lineup or something, you know. But so that was run by Fluttertown, but Fluttertown have started up the Monday Club virtually now. So they run live streams on Facebook every Monday from like 7:30 or 8 p.m. or whatever. And just like 4 acts or whatever it is. And it's just streamed from the sound house, like from the venue in the Wiley Fox. So they stream it straight through to Facebook, and it's all professionally done. You know, you're singing through the sound system, and there's cameras, and it looks nice, and there's interviews and stuff after. So I got to do one of them, and that was really nice. It was obviously weird not having people there, but it was just nice to play live. And then I did another one recently. I think it was last week on Thursday, and again, in association with Fluttertown in the same venue, but it's run by this other crowd called Dublin City Today,
Yeah.
which is a YouTube channel, which has gone around recording all the buskers around Dublin and stuff.
Okay.
It's gotten quite a following and stuff like that. They do a stream to YouTube every 2 weeks on a Thursday, and yeah, it's in association with Fluttertown as well, and it's in the Soundhouse too. So it's nice. So hopefully there'll be more of them, as long as we're stuck in this, you know. But
it's a really good idea, because so many different industries have, like, obviously, you know, some places are doing takeaway or things have moved online, but obviously you guys, it's kind of hard, but the fact that they managed to move something online like that as well, it still gives you guys a chance to perform and people to enjoy the music. Like, you could sit at home and have your pint, and it's not the same, but
yeah, no, it's nice because, like, especially like a lot of the DCT stuff, the Dublin City Today, like a lot of those buskers would have gained like a small like fan base from people who subscribe to it and watch it. Like, there's, I don't know how many subscribers, just there's a good few thousand subscribers on it anyway.
yeah.
So like that even being streamed on YouTube to people, is still, it continues a momentum for like a lot of the musicians, you know, to kind of keep that following being built up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, like, I don't know, Instagram Live or something, but like,
Instagram lives are so hard, aren't they?
It's not even that. It's like, because like everyone's whoever like tunes in, you know, they watch and they're writing to you being like, oh, good, really like that song, you know, whatever, and that's really nice. But like at the end of the day, I'm just sitting in my room singing in a microphone to a phone screen, and
Yeah.
I've
done a few live workouts, and it's the same thing. Like, I'm in my bedroom just telling the phone, hey guys, come on, how's everyone getting on?
Yeah, it's just, it's a strange, sometimes I get really in the mood to, and I'll do one, and then I'm on it and I'm like, oh, I might start doing these like every Sunday, but then I don't do one for another 3 months. It's just
yeah, it can be hard.
I think I might, I'll do the odd one sometimes, but I don't think I'll do like a regular scheduled one or anything like that, because I just don't really like them that much. But definitely I would like to do more of the live stream gigs from like a venue or something like that.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. It's just it's the enjoyment for me as well. Like, I get to sit and hear myself through a sound system.
Yeah.
And nobody's there, but that doesn't really matter, because I'm just getting to like play and hear it, you know. So
Yeah,
that's kind of fun. But yeah,
it's definitely a bit of a difference from sitting in your room singing to your phone.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your industry is treated unfairly in this? Because I feel like, I don't know, this is just my kind of thoughts, but like, say, like, for me, it's like, okay, yeah, well, sure, you're going to go back to work and the gym's open. Whereas sometimes I feel like they're kind of like, all right, lads, come on now, he's going to grow up.
It depends. Like, well, it doesn't depend. It, like hospitality, gyms, the art sector, everything, like, there's no clear roadmap, you know. No one knows when things are going to open up again. No one knows when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. But like, there has been help, you know. Like, there has been grants from art. Like, I haven't received any of them because I hadn't applied for them, because I didn't really have anything ready or projects ready to go, you know. So there was no point in me applying. But like, if you had a project going or something ready to go and you applied, and the Arts Council or whatever the grant body was for whatever these grants were, deemed that your application was I don't know what the word is.
Suitable.
Suitable.
Fits the criteria. That's the one. Fits criteria.
Fits criteria.
Yeah.
Then you would be awarded the grants, you know. So like, there was help in that situation. I don't know. There definitely could be more help in terms of like people with mortgages and loans and stuff, like having more like repayment breaks, you know. Because there's a lot of people freaking out, you know. Like, realistically, €350 a week isn't that much money for people, you know, especially with families and mouths to feed and stuff like that. So there definitely could be more help in terms of that, and like maybe not even giving more money. There's definitely more that can be done for that. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't, unfairly. Yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to go back to play, but a lot of people would like to be able to go back to work, you know? So
Yeah.
it is just when it's possible, it's possible. But at the moment, it's not the impossible. So, like, I think a lot of the unfairity and people like not deeming it whatever, like a job or whatever, came from like the UK.
Yeah.
Because there was that post about like, or that poster and stuff about like, oh, meet Sharon. Sharon's a ballet dancer, but now she works as an IT tech because she upskilled. It's like,
Yeah.
well, she shouldn't have to upskill. Like, like you're not asking John the barman to upskill. John the barman just has to wait till his bar is allowed to open again, type of
Yeah.
way. So Sharon the ballet dancer shouldn't have to upskill. Like she just should be allowed to wait until her industry is open again. I'm not saying wait forever, but like
Mm.
you you shouldn't be told that your job isn't a job just because it's not a job, or
Yeah.
whatever. Because it is a job. But yeah, I'm rambling now. Sorry.
I think the problem is that people don't realize how much effort you guys put into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean this is it. Like it's not just showing up and singing a song into a microphone, playing a guitar, or singing up and showing up and doing your dance. Like
Mm.
there's loads behind it. Like there's months, like especially for like bigger shows and bigger artists and stuff like that. There's months of rehearsals.
Mm.
There's also months of recording time. And there's a huge stage crew and stuff like that behind it as well. They all have to, like, it's not just the musicians you see on stage. There's a whole crew behind it that build the
Yeah.
sets, the sound technicians, all that, like everything. That's gone. So people look at it from like surface level. They don't see everything behind it. So I think in that way it's probably treated a bit unfairly. But in general, I mean, we all have to wait until we can go back. So
Yeah. Actually, just thinking of this, because you didn't come from, say, a musical family in a sense, as in like people who are professional musicians in your family, was there a little bit like bite back from the fact that you wanted to go into this as your career from your family? Did they kind of go, ooh, or were they like completely supportive about it?
I don't think we talked about it that much, to be fair.
Mm.
I mean, I was always quite like, I want to do this, and they were like, yeah, look, if that's what you want to do, you do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I sing all that well when I was younger. Not that I can sing all that well now, but like when I was, going up until about, I'd say
He's
up
being
until about,
modest, listeners. Just so you know, I've heard him sing. He can.
but like up until I was about 17, I was quite like not able to sing that well. My voice just hadn't. I don't know what it was. So maybe there was some worry on that part, being like, oh, maybe you won't do it. But
Yeah.
I've been fine so far, So yeah, I'm like I've never done another job apart from playing music. Like I'm
Mm.
27, and and I've never had another job apart from this. Like I worked for like 5 months at McDonald's when I first moved down because I didn't know anything like in terms of the music,
Yeah.
like how to get into the gigging circle and stuff like that. But as soon as I got into the gigging circle, I just told McDonald's to politely go away.
Sounds good. I'm out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's just been it. Like since I've been 17, 18, I've just played music, and that's how I've like earned money, and that's how I've lived, paid rent, and that's been my life. So
Yeah.
it's quite cool. I'm very happy that it's worked out that way. Obviously, I'd love it to work out a bit more successful going down the line, but at the moment, I'm happy enough.
To be fair, like you do put a fair bit in. Like you had been, networking, working your way, and obviously that has paid off because you're getting called into these Facebook Live gigs as well.
how did you find breaking into the industry, like even on whatever level, like your ground floor level? How did you get in? What did you do?
I just busked and just played and just try to play anywhere I could, I was like, I go around bars. Like I remember, like at one point I was walking around a lot of the bars around like the city centre,
Mm-hmm.
and I go in and I'd be like, listen, what's the story? Do you need anyone to play music here? And they're like, oh, we all run through agencies. We don't deal with musicians directly. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, like what agencies were there? And some of them were a bit hesitant to like tell you who they were and stuff like that. But I found out some of them, emailed them, sent them on like videos of me playing somewhere that I had played previously or anything like that. And they were like, oh yeah, well, can you start? Like I remember one agency, I emailed them, and like I emailed them that morning. By the evening they were like, oh yeah, we like you, and here's your gigs for the weekend. And I was like, oh, unreal. So it was like literally I emailed them, and within it, like by that evening I already had work. But yeah, it's just knocking on doors and just
Yeah.
asking, like, because the worst thing anyone could say is no, like, so
Yeah.
no one's gonna turn around and be like, listen, you're shit, Well, some people might, but like in general, like no one's gonna be rude enough to be like, listen, you're crap, you're shit, even if you're not, like, even if you are. But like, not saying that anyone is, but I'm just saying like no one's gonna be that mean,
Mm.
In general, it's just the worst thing anyone's gonna say to you is no, and if you just don't ask, you won't get, it's the same thing
Yeah,
as
well,
like
if you don't ask in the first place, you won't get anywhere anyway, will you?
this is it. It's the same thing as going for like a job interview, though. Like in a, I don't know, like a Lidl or an Aldi or a McDonald's or whatever. Like if you don't put in the application,
Mm.
you're not going to be asked for the interview in the first place. So
Do you think some people will be more hesitant because they would take it as a personal offense? That makes sense. So, like, you are performing, you are singing, you are thing. So, someone says it, they'll take it as against them when it might just be to have enough people, or they just it's
yeah,
not
I
the.
mean, I guess like especially I suppose music is quite a sensitive thing, and arts and that is very sensitive. That it would knock somebody's confidence. I think it's just about having a thick skin and just knowing that like you've obviously done it up to a certain point, and you're obviously good enough to do it up to that certain point.
Yeah.
So you already know that. So just keep knocking on doors. But otherwise, like it is a confidence thing. Like a lot of people would take it to heart, but just know that like agencies, they probably just have too many musicians on their books, type of way, or they probably just don't have gigs. But there is a lot of them that will be like, look, don't have gigs for you. Give me your number. I'll keep you there. And if I need someone to cover a gig, or
Yeah.
like if somebody can't make it, or if one of the musicians are sick or something, I'll give you a ring. There's a lot of that, or they stick into like group chat, and like sometimes musicians need someone to cover, and they'll put it in the group chat, and you just be like, oh, I'll take that gig. So it's just about making yourself available as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to do that much last minute gigs?
Yeah, but like I'll take them on because I'm always greedy for money. So, like, which is like if like I like having money. I suppose
It is
everyone.
nice.
I suppose everyone likes having money. But yeah, like, and if I'm already in town, like I'm like, oh, what's the hassle? Like, because I usually I'm already in town with my stuff anyway, because I'm already going to be gigging.
Mm.
So if I'm finishing up a gig and someone is like, oh, can someone take this gig in an hour's time or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll take it. As long as I fit the criteria. If they're looking for a traditional Irish singer, then not me. But
Want to work out a few of the old ballads now?
I couldn't whack out a ballad. I probably could. I probably could if I tried, but like, I don't know. I
it's
like
better to stay in your lane.
I like listening to those songs, but I don't get a great amount of enjoyment in singing a lot of them,
Yeah.
Just the odd one. Like I like the L Triangle and Raglan Road and stuff, but anything else, I'm like, I'd rather be the bloke sitting at the bar listening to your man singing that than me singing it,
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Just because you're Irish doesn't mean you have to be into doing that. I think it's like almost apologetic. Like, I'm sorry, they're not really my buzz.
But some of them get real snotty as well. Like if you don't know a song, like some of them might ask you for this obscure song, or I don't know. Like I don't particularly listen to Rod Stewart, you know. Like I think Rod Stewart's great, whatever. But like I don't listen to him, so I don't know his music. But like somebody came up to me one time and they were like, "Can you play this Rod Stewart song?" And I was like, "I actually don't know it." And they were like, "And you call yourself a musician?" And I was like, "All right, mate, sound."
And do you know how to play it?
Some of them get real cheeky and they're like, "Listen, I'll sing it and you just play it out." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know the song. Like, you're not getting me. Like, you can sing it, but I'm still not gonna know how to play it." You know, it's just so when people get like enough like drink to them, they just kind of, we all do it. Like everyone just gets a bit ignorant and they forget why. You know, they forget how to listen. You know, so.
That's fair. Yeah, that's the drink problem. That's
Yeah, for sure. Look, we all do it. You know.
Yeah, definitely. What's the hardest part of being a musician?
I guess like the late nights, and it's a bit like, I don't know. I can't really complain. I love it. I love it. Like I like it, and I really enjoy it, and it's all I've wanted to do. So I can't really complain. But yeah, no, sometimes it's just a bit tiring. That's about it, you know. Because you could, like, your voice can only do so much. So you're doing like 3 gigs a day. Each gig is 2 hours, 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours, you know? So that's anything from 6 to 9 hours that you're doing singing in a day, you know? And your voice can wear down quite quickly. So it is just, I say that's the hardest part. Like when you're a gigging musician, like around the pubs and stuff, I say that's the hardest part, is if you're doing like 3 of those gigs a day, then your voice goes.
Yeah, well, like understandably.
Yeah, so it's when you're doing, I guess that's the hardest part, because you're doing you're doing that in like 4-day cycles or something, you know. So that's the other thing. Like then when you get your 2 or 3 days off, you're so tired you don't even want to lift the guitar or like speak properly, you know, because your voice
just grunt at everybody.
Yeah, your voice is so done in, and then you need those 2 or 3 days for your voice to come back to normal, you know, and then it happens all over again. So, but yeah, I'd say the hardest part is probably just wearing down your voice, and I suppose the other bit as well, like we were saying earlier, like the confidence issue, you know, like not taking everything personally, like, because music is such a subjective thing. Like you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, whether you know. So you just have to know, like you're doing it. You're obviously making money from it or whatever, and you have enough belief in yourself to do it. So keep doing it. You know, it doesn't matter that Sean drinking a few pints doesn't like you singing a certain song. You know.
Yeah, for every Sean, there's 10 other people who are enjoying it.
Like it's just not people's tastes. You know, and I suppose just not being too hard on yourself as well. That's the biggest part, you know.
Oh yeah, do you ever struggle with that?
Yeah, with like with my own music and stuff, with writing and stuff like that. So I always second guess everything. I always doubt it. But it's, I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like sometimes you're just like, why the fuck am I doing this? Basically, you know. So like, but I don't want to be. I love my job, but I don't want to be specifically just playing music, and I'm spending a lot of time doing that. But it is just like I was saying to you before, for like every 12 songs you write, you might get one good one. You know? So then you just start kind of being like, oh, this is shit. So every time you write a song, it's a shit song. You're like, why the fuck am I doing this? You know? So it's just trusting, I guess, the process, and trusting yourself and trusting your own intuition that like you will come to like a good song, and just keep practicing, you know, basically.
Oh yeah. Like this is the only way you get better at anything, really, isn't it? Like,
so
not saying that you're bad at songwriting, but if you keep going, like. It's a numbers game with loads of different things. Like the more consistent you are, the better it'll get, or the more chance you
This is
have
it.
of
It's
landing
just,
something.
it's also the more you use it, it's like anything. It's like working out or exercising. The more you use it, the muscle gets stronger. You know, it's the same with like writing. Like your imagination gets stronger, your creativity gets stronger,
Exactly,
your
yeah.
your brain gets stronger, your vocabulary gets stronger. Um how you make melodies and how you bring them together and stuff like that. It all gets stronger the more you use it. So that's I guess a lot of people just struggle with like they want instant results, and not
Yeah.
everything's going to be an instant thing. You know, like some days you'll write an amazing song in 15 minutes, but
Mhm.
other songs might take you a year to write. You know, which
Yeah.
is insane, but it happens.
But then they're going to go, but I did that in 15 minutes. Why can't I do it this time? It's just not how it works.
So just
That's in
like
life in general, I think. You see a lot of parallels with everything. You know, people want everything yesterday.
yeah, but it's also like it's the song just might not. Whatever the song, as arty farty as this might sound, the song just might not connect with you at that point. You know, like that one or two lines that you have, and you're like, that's really good. Then you're like, I need to write the rest of this song, but it might take you a year to write it because what that song is about might just not have happened to you yet, or maybe you just haven't connected to the situation enough yet, or whatever it is. You know,
Yeah.
depends. Which is really arty farty to say, but I find that happens. So
No, it makes sense to me anyway. I don't think it's. Did you find it harder to perform your own music versus covers?
do I find it harder to perform my own music over covers?
Mm.
Yeah, I do. I prefer playing my own music.
Yeah.
Just because it's my own music and I whatever stuff like that. But yeah, I do find it harder playing my own music over cover songs, just because I guess with the cover songs, the song's already out there. You've already heard it 12 times over by the time you even got to sit down and learn it or whatever, you know, before you play it in a bar. But I guess with your own song is you're creating it as you go along, and so I don't really know how to explain it properly, but I just find that if I write a song, I really shouldn't play it until maybe, I don't know, a month, maybe 2 months after it's written, because it just hasn't fully embedded in my head at that point, you know, type of way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, like, even like the last day I was like playing a gig and I was playing one of my songs and it was like in a 6/8 timing, but for some reason I played it in 4/4 and it sounded completely wrong. And nobody else really noticed.
Yeah.
But I noticed and I was getting really like frustrated with myself on the stage.
There's things like not in the same like say I've teach class to big people and if I fuck up during a class, like I'm sitting there going shit. Like say I'm doing some movement and I have to show them. But like in my head, they've no idea, or in their head, they've no idea that I've just messed up or I've missed the like beat drop to change to a different move or something like that. Silly things like that. And I'm like, damn. And they're just like, la 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 la.
Yeah. It's mad though, because like no, I don't think like not a lot of people notice when you mess up or stuff like that, but you'll always notice yourself, and that's the other thing about not being too hard on yourself as well. Is like it happens, and you just have to keep doing it. Like everyone makes mistakes, you know, type of way. So
Yeah.
that's like the important. Just don't be too hard on yourself.
It just means you're human, you know, if you make a mistake. We're not robots.
Oh, geez, life is so much easier if we were robots, though.
It will be, but you know, be a bit more boring though.
I don't know. Like Bender from Futurama has a great time.
That's true.
Yeah. All he needs is castor oil and he's sorted.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point. One last question for you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Don't be shit. But yeah. Yeah, don't be shit. It's just you're obviously doing this for a reason. You obviously like people are hiring you to play music, you know? So you're obviously good at what you do. And you're gonna get into your head from time to time, but like it is just a thing of just don't let it make you be shit because
yeah, it's the whole don't let your biggest enemy live between your two ears.
well, this is it because that's it. Your biggest fucking critic, your biggest critic is yourself. You know, and that's always the way it's going to be. So, because there's always going to be somebody that likes what you do,
Yeah.
you know. So I guess in terms of like songwriting and stuff, like just write what you think is your truth and what you enjoy and what's important to you.
Hmm.
And people are either going to like it or they're not going to like it, but somebody's going to like it and somebody isn't going to like it. And it's the same with
Yeah.
any music or any type of art. Like it's very subjective, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like as long as it matters to you, then that's absolutely fine. And then when it comes to cover gigs and like pub gigs, just don't be shit. Just play the songs people want you to hear you play, you know.
Yeah.
Then you'll keep getting paid for doing those gigs.
Fair.
You
They're
know?
always going to be a bit drunk anyway, so they're not going to notice if you mess up.
Well, that's it, like, you know. And sometimes people are very drunk and you can take the piss out of them over the microphone, you know. I do sometimes.
You learn who you can pick, don't you?
Well, this is it, because like you know who's going to respond to it really well. You know, like I remember I was playing in a bar one time, and I won't say the name of the bar, but there was a fella, and he was very drunk. Like he was falling over the place. Now this was a midnight till 2 a.m. gig, so people had already been on the sauce for the night anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And he was going around and he was hitting on every girl in front of the stage, and nobody was having any of it. And he was just being really messy, and he kept knocking over my tip jar and stuff, and I was getting really frustrated with him, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, eventually he was going up, and he was like pushing up and like that, trying to dance this girl, and she was like, no, I don't want to. And I was just over the microphone, I was like, mate, she's turned you down 3 times already, just leave her alone. And that was really fun. It was just nice to take the piss out of somebody.
Did he say
Because
anything back?
Well, he got in a bit of a huff, but like he
Mm.
didn't do anything, obviously. But like, obviously, I was just in a bit of a mood that night as well. He kept being, this guy was just really drunk, and he kept
Yeah.
like pushing into my thing. But yeah, just keep doing it. It's fine, you know.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's right. I like the way you say that. Just keep going and don't let, anything knock you back in a sense,
this is it,
Obviously,
like, because the only person that is going to knock you, I've said it already, but the only person that is going to knock you back is yourself, and and the only person who really matters as well in this situation is yourself. So
yeah. And if someone's giving out about you, it means you're doing something good as well.
this is it. Any publicity or any criticism it can be constructive, you know. Depends what way you look at it.
I mean, the thing is, well, like, say if you've got someone who's just a wanker who's giving out to you when you're playing, like, 90% of the audience are fine. You've got one person be like, whatever, your shit or whatever. But like, you've made an impression on them.
Yeah, but also the other thing is as well, like he's the only person in there shouting.
Yeah.
So it's a him issue, not a you issue.
Yeah. It's just going for that things like, even any kind of, as you said, any publicity, like it's like no one reacts if you're doing nothing.
This is so,
you know what I mean? You kind of want haters in a sense, so that means you're making an impact. If you're making no impact, you will have no.
This is the thing, like people will support you silently. Like if people think you're good, whatever, they're like, oh yeah, this guy's good, but they don't really boast about it too much, you know. But if somebody doesn't like you, or somebody has something bad to say about you, it's because you're doing something more than they are, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of jealousy in that or whatever, and that's literally it. The only time somebody's going to give out about you is because you're doing something more than what they're doing, you know. And that can only be a compliment, can't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, just don't be hard on yourself, basically.
Yeah. No, it was really good advice, and I think that can be applied to anything, not just the music industry, the art industry as well.
Anything. Same thing with like working out and stuff as well. Like you obviously you see people and they're probably like not in the best shape, or maybe they're a bit lazy or something, and they're always like giving out about not being able to work out, or I don't know. And a lot of the time when people wish they could do more, or they wish they were doing something more with themselves, or like lifting heavier or running more or something, they always kind of knock the person that's doing a bit more than they are, you know. And it's just it's a general human condition, you know. So
see, people make excuses, but the real thing is either it's not a priority, and or they don't believe they can, so they just tell themselves they can't.
This is it. And then they always get frustrated at the person who is doing more, you know?
Like, oh, I'd love to do that like you can, but you know, and there's always some veiled backhanded compliment. And you're like, yeah.
This is
I
it.
just don't have the time, you know, at work. And I'm like, no, you do have the time. You spent an hour on Instagram last night.
This is it. And this is the thing I discovered. Like, even the thing about like some bloke at a bar giving out to you about playing music or not being that good enough. Like, after you finish your gig, you'll go outside and that same bloke will be having a cigarette, you know? And he'll come over to you and be like, oh, you know what? You were actually really good up there. I was only joking with you. You know, I used to do a bit of the music myself, and and then you see it. It's like, well, it's literally, it's a jealousy thing. You know, it's, they're giving out because you're doing more than they are, and whether they realize it or not. But they'll always come up after and they'll be like, do you know what? You're actually really good. I was only messing with you, and it's like, that's fine, but you know, you're still a dick.
You know what? Fuck you.
You know, but you just don't let them ruin your day, you know? It's entirely, it says more about them than it does about you, and that's in every walk of life, you know? So
just keep showing up and
consistency, just keep being consistent.
And fuck everyone who tells you shouldn't do it.
This is it. So I think that's what I was going to say there.
I think that covers everything really. So, and thank you again for joining us. But before you go, James, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, okay. I was going to be funny and give out my address there, but then I realized I didn't want anyone to come knock on my door. So, yeah, you can find me, if you want to find me, like social media wise, Instagram at James Burnell _music. Burnell is BURNELL, and it's the same on Facebook, YouTube, just James Burnell music. I think I'll tell you now. I think it's _music or music, but it is James Burnell, and I don't really think there's many other people doing music under the James Burnell title. So
I can't say I've heard any others, but I don't know a lot about music anymore.
I think it's just James Burnell. Tend to post stuff up on SoundCloud, like my own music, like demos of my own stuff, and then you know, after about like 2 weeks, I freak out and be like, that's not good enough, and then I take it down again. But then I post something else, then up 2 weeks later. So like, there's always like, there's a rotation of stuff. Like, you'll never have to listen to the same thing, you know. And yeah, so you just type my name in. James
it's like the SoundCloud, the test run, and then if you really convince yourself, you'll put it on YouTube.
No, it's not even that. It's so like when I'm writing my own stuff, I sit down, I record it here at home, and then I'll like, you know, I'll put like piano over it, like some electric guitar, drums or whatever it is, you know, whatever to build the arrangement. And that's just a demo. That's just a demonstration of how the song is going to sound. That's when I want to take it to a studio, to a producer, and be like, this is what I want, and then we record it for real, you know. But I'm just kind of, I think just over this like lockdown period and stuff, I'm like putting stuff up on SoundCloud. Yeah. And then, which is like the demo of the song, you know, just for people to hear where it's at, you know. But then like 2 weeks later, I always take the stuff down again because I'm like, I freak out and I'm like, that's not good enough. But then that's just me being hard on myself again, you know. Yeah. So, and then I post something else up then again like 2 weeks after. But yeah, but there's that. Look, if you just type my name in, you'll find stuff. You know, Instagram, YouTube. It's there. And yeah, thank you for having me very much. And I look forward to being able to see you guys in real life again.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully by 2025. But yeah, so as well, for everyone who's listening, thank you for listening, and thanks again to James. And yeah,
thank you.
Thank you again for listening to the Why Not podcast. It really means a lot that you are listening in, and I would love if you could please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or subscribe on Spotify. And always, I'd love to hear feedback personally, so if you do want to leave me a message and let me know how you found the podcast, please do.